So we're back in Seattle's International Baggage Claim area, looking for baggage claim 4, which is how we catch the shuttle to the ship. Well, at least the numbers are going the right way. Okay, I see 4. It's way off in the distance. It looked like that dog needed an emotional support human. We are on our way out of the airport following our Seattle Express person. Good?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Seattle. Just want to make sure everybody is on the right bus. This is the non-stop to Las Vegas.
Good.
Okay, sounds like a few of you got on the right bus. Anybody not wanting to go to Vegas, I'll make a quick pit stop at Pier 91.
There you go.
There's cruise ships down there waiting to take people to Alaska. You can get on one of those. It's going to take us about 35-40 minutes to get to the pier. And as we travel through a portion of Seattle, you will get to see some of Seattle's tourist attractions. So if you are interested, I'd be happy to give you the mini tour on the way in. If that is something of interest to you, just say yes.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested, say yes.
Yes.
Yes is have it, okay. The other thing you'll notice is all the containers and the cranes over here on the left. That is the port of Seattle. It sits right here on the opening of the Duwamish River, where it empties into Elliott Bay. Elliott Bay becomes Puget Sound, and Puget Sound becomes the Pacific Ocean. And that's how all the cargo ships come in, and the cruise ships. Over to the right side here, you're going to see a big brown brick building. You might recognize the logo on top of that clock tower. That is the new Starbucks headquarters. That originally belonged to Sears and Roebuck. They built that. They had a store in there as long as a warehouse space. They stored things to go out to other local stores. This building straight in front of us, the white tower with the pyramid top, that's known as the Smith Tower. That building originally was the tallest building this side of the Mississippi. As you can see, that didn't last too long. This tunnel that we're in is 2.3 miles long, so don't hold your breath. We'd have to wake you up when we got to the other side. This tunnel was built to replace a 2-tiered elevated highway that used to run east or north and south on our left side, right along the Seattle waterfront. It was a bypass of downtown Seattle for trucks and others wanting to go around the city but not through it. It got to the point where it was no longer safe to keep up and they had to tear it down. So they replaced it with this, most expensive option on the table, of course. It's kind of a nice bypass though. It goes completely underneath the city, comes out well north of downtown. The north and southbound lanes are actually stacked one on top of the other for the majority of the 2.3 miles. When we come out of the tunnel, we're going to be in the South Lake Union district. Lake Union is one of 3 large lakes here in Seattle. The South Lake Union area here is also the birthplace of Boeing. Bill Boeing dropped out of college, come out here and take over his father's logging industry. His dad had purchased a few hundred acres of property a few miles north of us. and started a logging company, but then he passed away. So Bill dropped out of college to take that over. And in the process of doing that, him and his buddy decided they would benefit from some seaplanes that could move materials from Seattle up to the logging site. And so they went down to California and learned how to build a seaplane. Came back up here and built a couple. And he liked it so much, he started building more. And then, of course, he eventually went into the commercial airline business. Interesting fact, seaplanes are still flying in and out of South Lake Union, which sits right over here to the right about 1 o'clock between this building and that hillside over there. There's an international airport that the seaplanes take out of, fly out of. They can go out to Alaska, Canada, out to the San Juan Islands, and a few other places. So there's the Space Needle. And then also on the left here, these two sandstone buildings. That is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Hanging from those two buildings is that structure I was talking about. You can get a glimpse of it there through the trees, and a better look right about now. That net, and that's the internet.
Ah, very good.
Some of you are chuckling. Some of you are going to take a minute or two to figure it out. It's just a bad dad joke. That's okay. That net is actually part of an art installation. Seattle has a rule here in the city that any new buildings go up, the contractor has to spend 1% of the cost of the building on art. The Space Needle originally was built with a restaurant up top and a revolving floor. You could sit down to eat your meal, and within an hour you would rotate 360 degrees, see all the landscape of Seattle. A few years ago they remodeled it. They took out the restaurant, put in a bar, a couple of bars, and some lounge areas. The floor still revolves 360 degrees, but it's currently made out of solid glass. So you can look straight down and see everything down below you, including this next building that you're about to see. It was built in the year 2000 by Paul Allen. Paul Allen was a big fan of Jimi Hendrix, and he wanted to commemorate his music and memorabilia. So he recruited Frank Gehry, the architect. Some of you might recognize that name. He built the Guggenheim in Spain, the Symphony Hall in Disneyland, and this monstrosity. It was originally called the Experience Music Project. It's now known as the MoPop, or the Museum of Popular Culture. New York Times writers labeled it the world's ugliest building. A lot of Seattleites still agree with that. If you look over your left, or excuse me, your right shoulder, you'll notice that the monorail goes right through that building. They built the MoPop right around the monorail, which was part of the original World's Fair. But here we're at the base of the Space Needle. Off in the distance, you see the white arches of the Pacific Science Center, also built for the World's Fair. And then those giant flowers are part of the Dale Chihuly Blown Glass Museum. Anyway, over here to the left, you'll notice this green glass building. You might recognize that from TV. Very famous drama, long-running show. Any guesses?
Ranger.
Good guess, but not right. Any fans of Grey's Anatomy?
That's where we got
No?
gas.
No fans of Grey's Anatomy?
That's 76 is where we got gas.
Oh, okay.
But Grey's Anatomy is a show that was set here, of course, in Seattle.
I couldn't handle
They filmed down in Hollywood, so don't go looking for Mr. McDreamy. He's not there. But that building is the Como News 4 building, and it is the building they use as the hospital for the show. Now there's your ships, larger than life.
Alright, we cleared the first. Now we're headed to security. Yes. Yes, it is. One of those little circle window rooms.
Exciting.
Yeah, we're almost there. All those bags. Oh, that's probably it there. That crow's pretty upset.
What?
That crow.
I know.
Was he part of the wildlife experience we paid for? A little upset, isn't he? We're out over the water now. On that side too.
In case of any unlikely events, you know where
There we
special
go.
refreshments for you, madam.
Okay. Where are we going?
I don't know. Oh, good point. Thank you.
Different, huh? Okay, we're gonna step out onto a spacious balcony.
Wow, this is great.
Yes, because if I drop anything,
Yeah.
it goes right there.